THQ Nordic and Vigil Games announced Darksiders 3. IGN first, they had more details on it, and I'm pretty excited about this. Darksiders 1 and 2 I really liked. Darksiders, Vigil Games emerged, kind of doing a Zelda clone, for lack of a better term, deal with War, one of the four horsemen. And then Darksiders 2 came out, and you were Death, going through an open world kind of puzzle, environmental puzzle, platforming heavy kind of hack and slash adventure. And now, Darksiders 3, you are Fury, the sister to the Four Horsemen. And we kind of wanted to talk about what we want in Darksiders 3. I think I'm probably the biggest Darksiders fan in the office. So I guess I'll start. But just to preface it, so Fury is going to be more of a whip-based character. So people on Twitter were asking...
Hold on a second. She's the sister of the Four Horsemen. Is she not a horsewoman?
I don't know.
Asking the real question.
Would imagine. But we did have a question. Poison Ivy.
The audio's on.
Jean-Luc is rolling this with the audio. We could watch this if we want.
We could. But keep going.
Yeah, so Fury's going to be almost like a Bayonetta thing. Kind of like whips and more, like fluid kind of combat. Almost like God of War, even with Kratos and his Blades of Chaos. But here you see the Elder Charred Council, if I recall correctly. But here's Fury herself, and you see War kind of chained up right here from the first game. But yeah, she's more mage-based, based on the news. She will be kind of transforming into different forms, making use of those, maybe elemental powers. You kind of see her here. In terms of what we want, this trailer doesn't show much, so Jean-Luc, you could probably actually cut it here. In terms of what we want, I want to see them actually kind of expand on it, because Darksiders 1 was pretty small and confined compared to Darksiders 2. Darksiders 2, they actually gave you this open world to travel through. There were many more incidental side bosses. Here you see her talking to the Smith from Darksiders 2. I think that's him. It looks like him.
Very exciting conversation happening.
Yeah, they're pretty into it.
So here we are.
Yeah, and we will essentially it'll be more of an open world, of course, but it's also cool that it's David Adams who worked on the original game, and Joe Madureira. David Adams actually recently worked on Chronos, a really good VR game. Pete, you liked it.
I like Chronos a hell of a lot.
So, I heard good things about that.
So they know what they're doing in terms of 3D action-adventure kind of stuff. Chronos was a pretty good example of that, but same with Darksiders 1 and 2. So it's kind of people... Darksiders 2 had a bunch of new people on it, but then the THQ dissolution happened, and Darksiders kind of fell off the face of the earth for a while, but they were almost like cult classics, and people kept asking for a sequel. And now this is going to be THQ Nordic's first game, and Gunfire Games will be working on this, but they are kind of focused more on like an open world that says she's tracking down the 7 deadly sins as the bosses. That was kind of the thing. The bosses in Darksiders 1 and 2 were like more typical Zelda kind of scale bosses. So I'm curious to see. I would like to see them kind of form the world around those 7 deadly sins. So maybe you go into the area where you're fighting lust, and it's a lot different than gluttony and whatnot. If you've seen
like that movie 7.
I know. If you've seen 7 with Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman, then maybe you know what to expect. But yeah, people keep making comparisons to what's the character's name from Bayonetta?
That's not Bayonetta. I know this is not. It's not coming to me right now.
I don't have it.
No. Okay. But anyway, people are making comparisons to kind of Platinum style action just because she has a whip. But I mean, I thought the action in 2 was good. It was more scythe based. I would like to see them actually kind of figure out new ways to incorporate her powers into into like environmental puzzles, because 2's environmental puzzles were cool at first. Death had this really slick traversal, wall running and everything. It kind of got stale toward the end of the game, and I don't think they kind of incorporated the puzzles themselves into the open world as much as they could. The older Zelda games, it's easier to do that because there are these actually streamlined dungeons where you could do that, but I want to see them integrate puzzles into the open world more organically, if that makes sense. Especially, I'm wondering if her like elemental powers will extend past combat and into that kind of travel and whatnot. I don't know. What do you guys, from what you know of Darksiders 1 and 2, I think you all have like brief experience with them. What are you kind of hoping for with Darksiders 3 in regards to like people from Chronos coming back, or people that worked on VR games and came back. Do you think they could have learned anything from Chronos, your time with Chronos, that you'd like to see implemented here?
I mean, to be honest with you, what I've played of the first 2 games, I didn't have any problems with it. Like, I kind of would just like more of the same, and I do like how the story does jump around between the first 2. So to kind of culminate here, I think that's really cool. Like, I rarely say this, but I just want more of the same. Mm-hmm. I know it's a really safe answer, but it's kind of true.
Well, yeah, because a lot of people were hoping that there would be like a co-op game with all 4 horsemen, but I'm kind of glad that they're sticking to the third-person action in terms of bringing a new character into it. And I don't know, I'm curious how the whip will work. Castlevania Lords of Shadow was the 3D Xbox 360 outing with...
also PS3 and PC.
Right, PS3, PC, that generation, and he used a whip, and that was actually really satisfying combat. It was kind of like I said, Kratos, the Blades of Chaos, almost like that reach.
Right. That same sort of momentum.
Yeah. I don't know, from like in terms of fighting these 7 bosses and kind of navigating this overworld, is there anything you hope to see from it? Because this is your kind of game, Rob, like in terms of
I'm just
action?
trying to like gauge. I mean, I really not familiar with the series.
You've been playing Nier though, like that's a third-person action.
Right. That's
like,
what I was
yeah.
immediately like trying to like make those like pulls. Right. Like, oh, that seems pretty fun. Like I was watching some of the combat. It looked great for 2, but I suppose like the open world, that is such a heavy-handed. I mean, what is this open world going to be like, right? Like, is it going to be even enjoyable compared to like, I feel like what has happened with like Horizon and Zelda?
Yeah, because Darksiders 2 was more of a item-gated open world, kind of like Rise of the Tomb Raider, Metroidvania-ish.
Yeah.
Would you like to see that, Callie, or more of a open world, or Rob, more just like one you can explore?
Yeah, like I mean, I hope there's a reason for the open world is what I'm trying to say. Like I
agree.
I like more and more open world games I play. I have to be entertained throughout,
Yeah.
right? Like that's why Zelda was so great,
They're a dime a dozen now.
right?
Well, yeah, it's just like if they're done wrong, it's really, really boring. So there has to be some draw to it. Obviously, this trailer didn't really give a whole lot of information, so I would need to know more. I really like Seven Deadly Sins as a theme, though. That's like totally my jam. So
It's pretty clear structure right up front. You know who you're going to be fighting.
exactly.
And it'd be really, I'm assuming they were pretty good with their bosses in Darksiders 2 especially. Pretty massive scale, kind of reminds me of God of War 2, opens up with that Colossus that you fight right away. Or 3 when you're fighting the Titans and Poseidon, you're pretty close after. Because God of War is another comparison people make with these games, kind of because of the combat and the fact that when you acquire a new weapon, it kind of, you could switch between them on the fly. Like it was Blades of Chaos, Blade of Artemis, Artemis' sword in God of War. I haven't played those in a while. But in the sense that God of War 3, you're hunting down the gods of Olympus, take them out one by one. It'd be pretty cool to see how the story integrates the 7 deadly sins as bosses. Seems pretty like metaphysical in terms of that's the 7 bosses you're hunting down.
It'd be interesting if having to confront those sins somehow did something to you as a character. Like you have to become a worse version of yourself to actually gain power.
Or resist.
Gluttony.
Lust. Just stuff your
I'm
face.
so strong now.
Yeah. Yeah, but unfortunately, details are pretty sparse on this game so far. IGN has their IGN First, which is like a month-long coverage of games.
Yeah,
or
IGN
week.
First is all month.
Okay.
Usually. So I know Alana Pierce is heading it up, so she has gameplay impressions and stuff.
Cool. But don't go to IGN. Just wait until we hear the news from them and put it on GameSpot. Anyway.
I have no opinion.
Yeah, but let us know what you think. There were questions on Darksiders 3 on Twitter, but I think we kind of answered them. I don't know. People are wondering how the progression is going to go. If it's anything like Darksiders 2, that was currency based, and then you come back to like one person in the hub would be who you buy abilities from, like new, like I said, that's where the God of War comes in. You would kind of be buying this new sword attack, this new jumping smash attack, new earthquake around you attack. So I'm really curious to see how the hub world will function, if there is one, in progressing Fury's skills, because she sounds super interesting. She's more mage based. War in the first game is kind of a brute, close combat, really a more strength based, like grappling and stuff. 2, Death was really acrobatic and kind of air juggling, more that kind of style. But I'm curious to see how Fury will factor into it with a whip and elemental powers. But yeah. If you have any questions in the chat, or if you're watching this on YouTube or GameSpot after, let us know what you want. Let us know what you think they need to do to get you back interested in this series after such a long hiatus, or if you're just excited for it anyway.